Hi everyone. Unbelievably, we've already reached the end of this unit and our time together. This week is all about reflecting on your learning, and I can't stress enough the importance of taking the time to do so. Up here in the top corner is one of my favourite quotes about reflection. Follow effective action with quiet reflection. From quiet reflection will come even more effective action. You've been involved in 11 weeks of effective action. You've had to take in, process and apply an enormous amount of information. Information about language development, curriculum, theory and effective practice, as well as feedback on each of your assignments. Now it's time for you to have some quiet reflection on your learning so that you can move forward to your next units with effective action. The word effective is important. It's possible to take action that's ineffective. For action to be effective, you need to think about what went well and what you would do differently next time. So at the end of this screencast, I encourage you to take some time for your own reflection and post your thoughts on the discussion board in the week 12 thread. I'll just turn this to the next page here. Okay. We started off this unit talking about the stages and components of oral language development. It's important to remember that these stages and components are the building blocks from which you'll teach the students that you teach. The week 1 infographic about components of language seems like an age ago, but go back, have a look, print it out so that you have a quick reference guide. We moved on to theoretical perspectives. Again, I encourage you to find those infographics because they're a great quick overview. Look particularly at the Piaget and the Vygotsky ones. These two still underpin all my teaching 20 years later. They're important, especially Vygotsky and his zone of proximal development. I even use this one with tricky parents who want everything to be hard for their children to explain why I'm teaching what I am. There's also the emergent perspective infographic. The emergent perspective underpins both the early years learning framework and the Australian curriculum, so it's important that you understand it. We looked at the 2 curriculum documents, the EYLF and the Australian curriculum. I know that a lot of you found the EYLF much more user-friendly. It's really important, whether you're an early childhood student or a primary teaching student, that you start to get your head around the Australian curriculum. And the only way to do that is to jump in and have an explore. I suggest that you start with foundation year English, as this is what's familiar. Then look at year 1 and then year 2 so you can see how and where it links and grows. Then move on to another curriculum area. We learnt the importance of planning rich learning experiences and finding rich resources, ones that help children reach their educational goals and ones that can be modified, adapted and extended to cater for diverse learning and cultural needs within any classroom. What else did we do? As a teacher, we wear many hats and we have to get good at putting them on and taking them off quickly. As an example, just the other day, I moved from greeting parents and boys in my classroom to teaching students, followed by a meeting with the leadership group, back to yard duty, teaching, talking to parents at the gate, a meeting with a parent of a student with learning difficulties, followed by a parent information night presentation. There were 7 hats in one day. It was exhausting, but necessary. We've tried to give you a taste during this unit. In this unit, you started with an essay using formal academic writing. Assessment 2 was a presentation that required a professional formal tone, but different from the essay. The newsletter in Assessment 2 needed to have a professional tone, but be warm and inviting so that the parents understood what you were trying to say. And in your folio, you were writing about a resource for your fellow students or colleagues. And then, of course, there's also the way that you communicate with children, which is different again. Literacy is changing all the time. Gone are the days where writing was just pen and paper and reading was about having a book that you held in your hand. We talked about both visual and digital literacy. These are very important in today's society with all of our digital natives. I'd really like to stress, particularly with using technology in the classroom, there needs to be meaningful integration. It's not about trying to make IT fit into the curriculum. It's about looking for authentic opportunities for the students to use technology to show what they know. There are many what we call skill and drill apps That is, apps that just require students to enter answers. They're really just tech alternatives to doing it on paper. The focus needs to be more on what we call creating content, that is using apps that allow students to create and add text, pictures and photos and voiceovers in order to show their understanding. So finally, my own reflections. As a teacher, I believe that I'm also a learner. Being an ELA has made me reflect on many things in my own practice as I've moved through this unit with you. As a junior primary teacher, I never had the benefit of being able to learn about the early years curriculum. As part of a curriculum leadership team at my school, I now know about both, but going through the EYLF in such depth with you has reminded me about where my students come from and the skills and strategies that early childhood teachers develop before they get to me in Year 1. Talking about oral language has reminded me how important it is, and I've been trying lots of different strategies in my classroom that I knew about, but that I'd kind of forgotten about at the same time. It's been great to see my boys interacting and learning during all of these oral language activities that they're really enjoying. Finally, I've been sharing information with my colleagues about what we've been doing together, and this has created a whole dialogue at my school about language development that is leading to some exciting developments in lots of classrooms. Professional sharing is an extremely powerful form of professional development. Okay, so it's over to you. Have a think about what you've learnt and post something on the discussion board. I look forward to reading all of your thoughts. Thanks, everyone.